by a certification point of view, and for the role that I have, we are not looking only on privacy. So data governance, consider the times that we have in terms of everything is managed by data, even a production company or a food and beverage company. Data are fundamental, and data governance is like having in order your production site. So in this moment, data governance is the base of everything. Privacy is one of the categories of the data that you are managing, that the companies are managing, but by our point of view is fundamental. Data regulation are moving, I think, on the right direction, are giving an idea to companies that data are not only something that you take in your, in your basket for your own use, it's something that needs to be regulated. Needs to be managed also in a proper way. The GDPR probably was one of the first that was putting in front of the companies, the responsibility toward the data subject of privacy, but this is the category of privacy. The problem of regulation is that sometimes are growing a little bit, scattered around, are not the same in all the continents, and sometimes for companies very difficult to deal with all these compliance matters. Let's hope that for the future we will take, and also, the governments and the regulators are going to take a little bit of responsibility also in putting better together all the rules that they are issuing. I would say artificial intelligence, but it's not only. Artificial intelligence depends on how you treat artificial intelligence. We need to be aware artificial intelligence are algorithms that are working. This means that the very problem is governing the data at the base of these algorithms. Using ChatGPT or whatever it is as a technology is good, is feasible, but is not different than what we had as a problem years ago with less powerful tools that if you have scrap data, you have scrap results. So this means that data governance means control of the data for the future. Not only technology. What I mean is that technology could be a driver, could be something that could be useful, but at the end, if you're not able to control your base, this means that you do not have good results of the technology that you're going to use. What I was saying before, if you're not able to match together the regulation and the ways of working, or what is important for the data governance within international cooperation, this means that you are creating confusion. Confusion in company because the responsibility for the data could not be the same, the importance of the data could not be the same, and at the end it's very difficult mainly for big companies or companies that are facing international markets to deal correctly with all this complexity. Privacy is an underestimated opportunity in the market. You know that we are one of the certification bodies that in this moment are working for certification for privacy, but we see a little bit, still we see some confusion, we still some underestimation of the problem of data, and I think that this conference is important because it's putting together a lot of different points of view, legal, technical, for artificial intelligence, for things that are more standard things or old or ancient things of thinking about privacy. But it's putting together a lot of professions, a lot of competence, a lot of ideas, and it's 4 years that I'm coming to the conference. It's very useful to exchange ideas and to find also solutions. Not only at a local level, not only at a national level, but at an international level that is most important. Personally, I think that my objective being also scheme manager for privacy for the certification body, for DNV, obviously is spreading around the message of privacy, data protection, let's say. Then obviously as a certification body, we are looking for a logical privacy with a wider perspective. And we are in DNV, we want to be, to help our customer in understanding and navigating the complexity of data governance with different services, obviously with the point of view of a certification body, so that is limited to the part related to certification, but certification are standards. Standards are a taxonomy of governance. So at the end, our scope for the future is being relevant for our customer in helping them addressing the challenges that they're going to face in data governance for the future. Data protection certification is a good way to demonstrate compliance when you are exchanging data. What we see is that companies are approaching us mainly because they are asked, in the majority of the cases, for example, we are discussing about data processors. This means that they have a customer that is asking them what they are doing for privacy, data governance, data protection. Certification is a way to demonstrate this compliance through the approach of a third party that is going to audit you independently. This means that you are also, as a company, putting yourself in front of someone that is judging you. Okay, judging probably is a strong term, but effectively is what is happening. And is giving trust on the market. We see that already for other markets, like for example medical devices, that is one of the examples that I've always put, the certification is the only way sometimes to demonstrate compliance. And when you have a certified medical device, you can trust that this medical device is safe. Is done correctly, not to put at risk the health of the person that is using it. The same could be for certification in terms of privacy. A certification could demonstrate that you are working with the best technology and the best approach that you may have to protect the information that you are handling for your data subject or for a controller or for the people that are trusting in someone that is taking care of the data correctly. Two questions before, you were asking about the cooperation, the fact that we need probably to be more, trustable between the different, also legislations in terms of. I think that an observatory that is going to help also discussing about these topics, considering also the impact that the people that are present to the Privacy Symposium are giving, to the market and to the perspective, could be an important point, an important touch point to share information, to share ideas, and to help all the stakeholders and the actors that are participating to think about what we can do better to improve our collaboration. So, by my point of view, it's not only important, but it's fundamental. The message that I want to share to companies is not to be afraid of facing, I do not say only certification, but not be afraid in facing the new technology, in facing the new challenges that we have for the future. Sometimes what we see is having companies that are more, they are like afraid of what is coming on for the future. But the future, it's completely open, it's bright. The technologies are moving so fast that are enabling also companies that were local to have an impact globally. The message that we're going to give is not being afraid, knowing that there are challenges, but knowing also that the history of mankind is solving challenges. So at the end, nothing more than that. Being more, heart-based, giving more on the looking at the opportunities that the data governance is giving, so not be afraid to that.